everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Teardown. My name is Jeff Gluck, along with Jordan Bianchi. We're motorsports writers for The Athletic, and we're here at Daytona International Speedway. Very rainy and stormy Daytona International Speedway right now, actually, and that's fine with us because the whole race got in before that stormy weather came.
No weather interruptions. Like, it feels like forever since the Daytona 500 was not impacted by rain.
Man.
And kudos to NASCAR for moving it up by an hour, by the way, because if they didn't do that,
that would have been a mess. Yes.
So anticlimactic.
That was the early call of the year right there, moving this up an hour. Thank you for that one. We could have still been here. Actually, originally, Jordan, it looked like this was going to be a storm front that like swept through, and now it turns out it's like a thing that would have parked. So that would have ended the race.
It would have been done.
Yes, there's no way they would have been restarted this after it was an official race. So had there been the lightning ahead of it, had there been the raindrop started, whoever was ahead, it would have been a controversy. It would have been a mess to start off the year. Instead, there is actually a finish under green.
Yeah, barely, but yeah.
In regulation.
I know.
At that.
Yeah.
A Daytona 500 finish under green in regulation. Yes, barely, as you say. We'll talk about that. But
and dare I say, and maybe we don't disagree, I don't think it was all that controversial of a race. Maybe? Do you disagree?
No. Well, there's going to be some sticky points that people want to talk about for sure. But I don't know if we'll agree with them. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But listen, in the most NASCAR way, we always think that the most NASCAR thing to happen ends up happening. And sometimes there's so many of those things that could happen. And of course, one of the possibilities of that fits that description is NASCAR, Michael Jordan, who were doing battle together 2.5 months ago. The trial started today, 2.5 months ago, in that courtroom, contentious, tearing the sport apart.
Ugly.
Would NASCAR exist as we know it? Would 2311 exist at all? Fast forward 2.5 months later, and Michael Jordan and Jim France are in victory lane together, shaking hands, celebrating as 2311 has won the first points race of the year after the trial. Tyler Reddick wins his first Daytona 500, the first for 2311 as well. 2311 now has 2 crown jewel races.
2 of the last 3, by the way.
2 of the last 3, with Bubba Wallace winning last year at the Brickyard 400, and quite a chaotic, wild last lap to follow a race that was a lot of fuel savings. There was some big incidents, though, and so we are here to break it all down for you right now. We're in the mother's nursing room here at Daytona International Speedway.
Never knew it existed.
I've never been in this room before, all the years here. The other room we usually use is occupied, so I was scouting, and I saw that this room was available. There's no mothers currently here that we were taking this room
know of.
It's a long time after the 500. But we also, there was a sign on it that says occupied or not. And sometimes people walk into these rooms.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I just slid it to occupied. And this room does have a bathroom. So unlike
tell people about this.
Well, they don't even know where this room is.
No, but there's people in the industry that listen to this, and other media members. This is we just discovered.
Well, I was only saying
gem.
that because if anybody tuned into our live stream for Daytona where we didn't go to the bathroom for over 7 hours, we now have one in the same room as us. So it's like it's all come full circle, Jordan. But anyway,
speaking of full circle, on the racetrack today, Tyler Reddick won the Daytona 500.
I know you're anxious to get away from bathroom talk.
Yeah, we're good.
Anyway, this was wild in the sense that like, I asked Reddick about this after the race, right? I think in so many of these instances, and they study this, right? Like it's going to be a 2x2 finish or a 3-wide finish, and coming down to the last lap, and it's all the pack, and they're studying when to get these runs, when to get the push, when to go, when to try to, which line's moving. And as this race was unfolding, you had the Spire cars leading, coming to the white flag and looking like, this could be a Spire victory here. Maybe Hocevar, maybe McDowell. McDowell had somehow saved his fuel incredibly and improbably. I guess all the caution laps helped him. I can't believe that they put themselves in position for that. But there's a huge wreck And we've seen a fan video just before we went on here of how big that wreck actually was. Because I was like, you couldn't really see it from TV, I don't think. I mean,
not to that degree.
It was just like,
no.
they spun off, and then we never saw them again. Then
the issue was that they're focused on the leaders,
Sure.
and so
Yeah,
they're
of course.
quick. They showed it, and it's like, we got to get to this because this race may end any second. So that's hard television to do.
Yes. So I never saw this until this fan replay that somebody sent me. That was quite a bigger impact, bigger hit than I originally thought. But they keep the race green, as they've done all week, which I think, by the way, is great. And I talked to Mike Ford about this from NASCAR afterwards, and I said, so was it like some philosophy change, or that you guys? He's like, no, it's actually two different race directors. Chase Brashears did Friday and Saturday, and Tim Berman did Sunday tonight. So it wasn't like they were like, let's not do this. They just decided they've kind of come to the conclusion in recent years, I guess. He said that if there's not a debris field on the track or cars stopped on the track, they will keep it green. And I guess Tim Berman, according to Mike Ford from NASCAR, looked over at turn one and said, okay, those cars are out of the way. And he doesn't rule on the hard hits, I guess, like, cause he says that's not something they want to judge, of whether that triggers the caution or not, because you can't really, some hit could look not so hard and cause an injury, right? So they don't want to say, well, it didn't look so bad, so we're not going to throw it. They're more worried about on the last lap, okay, are they out of the way or not? They were, so they kept him racing. Obviously, then Tyler, the pack then breaks up, right? Because so you no longer have the fully formed pack, and it's just sort of this scramble. And you had Chase Elliott and Zane Smith out on an island.
Yeah. Way
out on an island. And that's, typically, those people get sucked back in, or the pack, the other people with momentum catch up to them. Whenever you see somebody get out too far, it's just not, it doesn't end up playing out typically. And I saw a clip where Chase Elliott said at the Care Center, he was doing an interview with some reporters. I can't remember whose video it was, but he seemed to know that. But, at that point, he's like, I got to go for it anyway. Well, then here comes Tyler Reddick with a huge push from Riley Herbst, right? I mean, and Reddick had so much momentum and speed, and he's able to, he said in the media center after, he's at that point, you're just using your instincts. And so he's, going this way. And what I'd really like to know, and I'll be interested to hear from the real experts on the podcast this week. I want to hear from Denny or Freddie Kraft from a spotting standpoint, people like that. But Reddick gets the lead there, and Elliott is like this, and Riley Herbst, and Elliott told reporters that he thought that Riley Herbst, Riley Herbst is not going to push Chase Elliott to the win.
No, he's got priorities.
So Riley Herbst hangs a right, and it happened to be that, well, Brad Keselowski was already there, so they just completely collide, and then they cause a huge wreck. So where the second place, third place, fourth place finishers all crashed, all had to go to the Care Center.
Chase Elliott finished fourth. He did his interview outside the Care Center. Brad Keselowski finished fifth or something like that.
Let's see, I have it right here.
Jinx.
Yeah, Stenhouse finished second. He was in the Care Center. Yep. Logano third. Yeah, so all the top five finishers except the winner.
Yeah, went to the Care Center.
Had to go to the Care Center.
Maybe, yeah.
Zane Smith was sixth, and he was on pit road. I saw him on pit road. So, most of the top five crashed across the line, but Reddick got out in front. Riley Herbst, but then Riley Herbst tells Bob in the video, Bob went and found him, because I was like, well, the reason he hung a right was he was just like, I could, the last thing I can possibly do is push Chase Elliott past my teammate for the win.
Not a good thing to do.
So, but Riley Herbst says in this video that Bob posted, no, I was trying to win it for myself, and there was just a matter of inches, a game of inches kind of thing. Brad Keselowski called it the stupidest move ever, or dumbest move ever, or something.
Brad had a really, really good run on that outside, and whether he would have gotten there or not, who knows? But he certainly would have had a shot at it because he had a lot of momentum.
Yeah, and so anyway, back to the point I was originally making. that I sidetracked myself on here is what I would like to know is if that wreck doesn't happen, if Riley Herbst doesn't hang a right, or even if he does, but he doesn't get into Keselowski or whatever, and it's going to be a drag race to the line. What I was trying to go back and really slow down the video. Like, did Tyler Reddick have enough momentum to make it to the line past Chase Elliott and maybe past Brad Keselowski on the outside? Or were they going to catch him? And if not for the wreck, if not for Riley Herbst taking out the rest of the top 5 cars, were one of those guys going to catch up to Reddick and win? Because there was a long way left. So there's maybe 100 yards left. So I'd be very curious because I think Keselowski might have won that race.
I think so too. I mean, I agree. I don't think Elliott would have won. I do not think
he and Reddick would have sucked the air off each other and drag raced and done aero stuff. Well, Keselowski came on the outside I think he had a push too.
He did have a push, and I do think Reddick had momentum on his side. I think he was going to be able to at least get ahead of Elliott to a degree.
But Reddick had lost his push when Herbst decided not to go. I mean, look, I get why Herbst is going to win it for himself. He wants to win it for himself. It's the Daytona 500 too. So he's not like, I'm just going to push my teammate to the win. He probably did see an opportunity to go 3 wide, but if I was Keselowski, 0 for 17,
something like that, yeah. First one, yeah.
I mean, ooh,
yeah, winless,
and a guy just you're like, oh my gosh,
great chance.
I have a run on the outside. Like I've got a shot here. I'm freaking sheared my whole femur off.
Coming back, massive rehab, painful rehab. Get back in the car.
Didn't know
for
if
Daytona.
He was ever going to walk.
Didn't know if he was ever going to walk again. Never has won Daytona. Talks about how much this race means to to win it. And I think it's the only crown jewel he's missing too, by the way. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be frustrated. You want to see that though, and that's it's unfortunate. I do.
If you weren't a man with a cane, and you could run after a young, spry Riley Herbst and not shake your cane at him, would you go punch him in the face for that?
There once was a car owner, by the way, named Billy Hagan back in the day who had a cane, and I think he went after Tommy Kendall with it and swung it at him after a NASCAR race. He was so angry, which would have been great to see.
So don't lose the cane yet.
Don't lose the cane. Use it as a weapon.
You might need that.
Yeah, use it as a weapon.
You might need that.
I understand Brad's frustration, and he has every right to be frustrated, and it's a very real and very justified emotion, and he is right in feeling that way. I do not feel it's something that you can go after Riley Herbst for, because in that moment, it's happening all so quickly, and the checkered flag's right there. You're going for the win at the Daytona 500, and he's going for it. Like, it happens. It sucks, and you could say it shouldn't have happened, but it's a blink of an eye. It just happens so quickly. I don't think it's something. It's something that anybody can understand is Brad, and that you're going to make this move because you got to go for it, and if you don't, you're going to lose. And even Tyler Reddick was like, there was a moment there for Reddick where it's like, I got to go for it, and I'm just going to hope for the best. That's what you do in those situations, unfortunately. So yes, you can be angry and frustrated, but is it a thing where you go and start confronting somebody? I don't think it reaches that level.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it seems like for the most part, whenever stuff happens at super speedways, everybody's like, that's part of it. Sucks. Sometimes they do get that guy was an idiot, but that is the nature of this kind of racing, and we certainly saw it again in this race. There were more, sort of bigger incidents than I thought, especially with the fuel savings type of race to get to that point. I thought, man, if they're just all backing it down the whole time and, they're going 5 seconds slower than needed, would there be this much attrition? But we saw multiple incidents today.
Multiple big ones.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of stage 2, there was that significant one that took out, Allgaier drifting up the track there.
Yeah. Through the trial.
Into Denny Hamlin. He took blame for it afterwards, but he wrecked the field. He wrecked a lot of contenders, or at least damaged them. Even Logano said afterwards that Logano went to make a move on the Spire cars, and as soon as he pulled down, he was like, "Oh, I guess I might have more damage than I thought from the earlier wreck, because it was more like a parachute type thing, and he wasn't able to complete the move or anything. So it's one of those things. That's one of those wrecks where, you know, they send you back out. They're like, steering wheel straight, great, like just a little nose damage. But those little bits on this car, this car's tough, but you know, if it's a hole in the nose or whatever it is, you know, that can really cost you late. So even though that wreck didn't necessarily like DNF some of the cars that were still in there, that might have hurt their chances of winning, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we saw many drivers though today rally back from incidents. William Byron was in like 2 for sure, maybe a 3rd even, and he was in the mix at the end. Logano, even though he had damage, was in the mix. It's one of those. It was an attrition-filled race, but it was also one that you can recover from and put yourself still in a position to get a good finish and maybe even a win.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, we'll get back to Reddick in a minute and all that stuff, but I think people do want to talk about the fuel mileage thing. That is something that's on their mind. There was a little media session with Alan Gustafson and Chase Elliott a couple days ago. Was that yesterday or a couple days ago?
Friday.
Oh, okay.
Friday late morning.
We've been here a while.
All blends together.
Yeah. So I asked Alan Gustafson and Chase about this fuel saving stuff, right? Because this is one of those situations where, you know, I think there becomes sort of, you talk to a couple people in the garage, or we hear stuff on the podcast, or we, you know, hear drivers say stuff, and then it becomes this narrative of, well, everybody thinks this. So it was one of those questions that I like to ask people where it's like, so what is like the real take on this? Like, what's your feeling on this, right? And Chase first said that I thought was interesting, that I guess they were the first ones to do it in like around Talladega 2022, the first year of the next gen car. And Chase was like, man, it was really fun when there was like only 3 of us that knew about this strategy. Cause I guess Gustafson was one of the ones that figured it out first. And Hendrick obviously. But now obviously everybody does it. And this is the way, and you know, obviously we talked about this a lot, but the reason they do this is because they want to take as little fuel on the last stop so they can leapfrog other people, because passing with this car is difficult at super speedways, right? When they're going all out, it's hard to pass. Mm-hmm. It's not like, you know, you can with the old car where you can get runs, or even the O'Reilly car, you know, where Austin Hill puts on 4 tires and goes, you know, from what, 14th to 2nd in like 2 laps.
And it's so weird because that race was really about tires and you know, and if you had fresh tires, you could make a lot of moves. And this race, it didn't seem to matter, which is weird because going into today, a lot of people thought like old school Daytona, tire wear is going to matter. It's going to be a hot, slick track. Car is going to be about handling and all those things. And yeah, to some degree on some of those things, but the tire part of it really didn't really feel like it mattered at all. Yeah.
So anyway, Gustafson said, look, I just don't think you can unlearn this stuff. And he said, even if you change the rules package on the cars, you opened up the rules and you allowed for much more disparity in the field and the slicing and dicing, he said, I still think that the fuel mileage, the fuel savings, fuel conservation racing, whatever you want to call it, would be part of how you win this. You know, he said maybe not as much, but it would still be a part of it. And he compared it. He said, look, you know, you used to see Bobby Allison going around Daytona with like a square car, basically, right? And then people learned aerodynamics and sleekness. And so you don't go back. And he said, you can be nostalgic all you want, but he said, I think this is here to stay. And Elliott said the same thing, right? Like it's not going anywhere. So when I watch the 3 wide pack, and, you know, Elton Sawyer made this comment, you know, I think it was on Sirius, or maybe it was in the rules briefing thing, a couple weeks ago when he was asked about the fuel savings racing, and he had said, you know, what are we trying to fix? You know, if I don't think about what's going on, it looks good on TV, kind of thing, right? And some fans on social media didn't like that. So I understand why people are saying, because if you're like, man, if you're a big race fan and you know what's going on, you're looking at lap times and you're listening to the scanners and you're like, these guys are going so slow. Again, 5 seconds slower off the pace. They had this ride along. NASCAR has this new ride along car that's like this kick-ass car, a 2-seater car.
It was. You laughed at it.
And Puka Nakua rode in it this morning with Bubba Wallace. And this thing, you know, you stand down there in the tri-oval all week, right? And you see the cars come by for practice and all this stuff. So I'm waiting to film this car coming by, and this thing just shreds. Like it was going so fast, and I'm like, whoa, that seems like it's going faster than the Cup cars that I've noticed. And even Bubba Wallace kind of made a comment when he got out of it to NASCAR. He's like, what are we doing here? Like, this was crazy. So I think it was maybe an unrestricted, I don't know if it was totally unrestricted, but it was fast. It was fast. So, and again, so then you see these cars going around, and you're like, oh man. But all that said, I just don't know. I guess I'm not as upset about it because I just don't know what you would do about it. And the Gustafson thing, his comment about like, you're just not going to go back. What could you possibly do, Jordan?
There's not much you can do. I mean, maybe you could give them a little bit more horsepower, or some kind of increase in the engine, because then it would theoretically burn more fuel, and that would create some the emphasis on having to make more pit stops or that nature. I don't know what you can do. It is a byproduct. It's so much like in this sport, though, that is often over-engineered. Like, no offense to the crew chiefs and engineers out there. They sometimes take the fun out of things because they figure out, oh, we can do this or we can do that. That's just part of this sport. And you can never really fully put the genie back in that bottle. And how do you change this? I don't know how you do that. Could you change the stage brakes? Is there a way you can change the stage brakes and maybe have the first or second stage to a point where you have a distance where you have to make one stop? I don't know. And then what does that do for that last stage and how that is, parsed out? I don't know, but that would be the only thing I can think of. But this is what it is. It's like so many other things where you have very, very smart people, and they're looking for every little micro advantage they can. And once they figure out how to do something that gives them an advantage, like Alan Gustafson did at Talladega, other crew chiefs are going to quickly jump on board. And it's just, what do you do? I don't know.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say really quick. And I understand like the idea of like giving them, bigger an engine and, maybe increasing speeds or anything like that. But you have to be really mindful of the safety component as well here. And you have to, there is a hard ceiling on how fast is too fast. And so I don't know how that it's a real delicate balancing act. I don't think there is a way to do it.
My thing is, even if a lot of people are going to say, just don't stop for the stage breaks, right? Like that's a common thing, which by the way, I think that's valid. I think that would make it interesting.
I'd like to explore that.
But I don't think that or if you added stages, whatever you're going to do with stages.
I don't want to add stages. I don't want to add stages. We do not need more stages.
Whatever you do, you're adding more pit stops. The core problem is the same, and that is that everybody wants to take the least amount of fuel in the final stop. So it doesn't matter if you don't stop for stage breaks because they're still setting up for the final pit stop. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you add a stage; they're still setting up. Mm-hmm. No matter what, they are like, when we get to the last pit stop, we're going to leapfrog people by taking as little fuel as we can. So that is a strategy. That's not something that you fix with, again, like, even if I would think, again, like Alan Gustafson said, like, let's say you had the old generation car, which put on spectacular show, and you could absolutely make moves with it, and you could absolutely have a situation where, okay, I fell back in the field, and then I came and I was able to slice and dice my way up, right? Well, still, like, late in the run, you still want track position. I guess maybe in the old days of Earnhardt, his last win at Talladega, when where do you go from
18th to first?
18th to first,
over final few.
I mean,
laps.
that's just that's not. You just can't do that.
It's not. You can't make those big moves.
With these
can't
cars,
make those charges.
You're never going to. So,
and I need to be set too. This isn't saving fuel. Is not like some wild thing that just came into be. Like there's been Daytona 500s that have been won on fuel mileage, on strategy calls. Like this has always been a part of it to some degree. Maybe it's more prevalent now, but it's also more prevalent too because we have more access to data. We know everything. I mean, we know every lap time. We know everything to the nth degree of how these teams are saving fuel, how much they're on the throttle, right? Like we have access to that data. So this is not something that's like just new. Like this has happened for many years before this. It's just now it's like many things. Data has has shined a light on this, and now we're seeing it play out.
I feel like, I saw Ryan Blaney's interview afterwards where he's like the 3 Toyotas got out front and clogged us up, and we got to do something about that. Which again, I don't know what you do. I mean, number one, couldn't you just run faster? Like if they're all 5 seconds off the pace, you could,
and we've seen that at places. We've seen strategies. We've seen races where manufacturers have said we're going to pit short. We're going to short pit basically, and then we're going to go out and we're going to go out and
we're going to run them out of fuel.
We're going to run them. So, and again, I don't mind that. Like I like that element of leave it up to. We talk all the time. Leave it up to the crew chief to make these decisions. Run the race how you want to. I like that, and I'm okay with that. And I don't. Today was really the first time where I don't say I was bothered by the fuel mileage thing, but it was really like, okay.
Stage 3 today was rough.
I agree. Like I don't know what the word would be. I just was like, oh, this is not. It just felt like we're just waiting and we're waiting, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that was really the first time in one of these super speedway races that this problem really bothered me, But I don't know what you do to police it, and it's also part of the thing of like you have to do it. And we saw Michael McDowell, for example, today. Like he gambled, like we're going to go for it. We're going to roll the dice and we're going to try to win this race this way. And it didn't happen, but good for him for trying. And it almost did. And it's okay. It's okay. If you can't police it, then just let these guys do it that they best see fit. And it does seem though that trying to short pit and running these guys, running the other manufacturers and teams out of fuel does seem to work more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what you do because remember the alternative, right? And I think it's easy to forget this, but we used to have single file against the wall for a long time of 500 mile super speeder races. Talladega, Daytona.
Earnhardt's last win, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last win at Talladega in 2015 was single file for the last umpteen laps.
It was Pied Piper.
100%.
Remember? Somebody move up to the wall, then they'd make a train against the wall, and they'd tick off probably
lap after lap
100 miles of just,
we saw this in like 2001, or I'm sorry, 2021 with this. Like it was just the race settled in, and it was just like we're just clicking laps by.
Right.
So
at least in this case, what Eldon Sawyer's saying is there does some validity there, right? Like, especially Daytona 500 and super speed races. This is a race for the casual fans in a way, right? Like this is the race where they get attention from people that don't usually watch NASCAR racing. Oh, we'll tune in Daytona, okay? And they have no idea what we're talking about right now. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that they're talking about it on the broadcast, but the casual people were just like, oh, I'll check out Daytona. Like they have so they're seeing this big pack. And by the way, the numbers are going to be favorable to it, right? Like the second most lead changes ever at Daytona, 65. And the most ever was the tandem era that everybody now bizarrely
I don't understand that
has
at all. Remember how up in arms people were?
Yeah, people freaking hated that.
They hated it. Like it was the death of super speedway racing. This is the worst thing.
You took away our packs.
This is everything. And so
now people are like, I kind of like that. They should bring that back.
It's just the ebb and flow nature of the sport. What's old is new, and it all comes back again.
Well, I did not like that at the time. I
didn't like it either. I think people would get sick of it really quick.
I really don't like agreeing with you this much so far. So I hope that we are able to disagree. But,
new year, new me.
Boy, people were mad at me.
Good.
Last
you
week.
Deserve it.
Or at the Clash, they're like, Jordan's the one making the great points. They've switched bodies. Jeff's the one that's just like, boy. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think something's wrong with you people, not me. If you're agreeing with Jordan, question yourself. Don't question me. Anyway. So I just think, again, if somebody was like, hey, why don't they just do this and this is the solution, then I could be like, okay, I'll get on board with that. Yeah, that would be a great way to change this. And I have no idea. What do I know? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, they should do this. Or, they should. I saw people like, well, NASCAR should penalize anybody that's not running 100% throttle.
No, that's ridiculous. The goal is to win this race however you can.
Yeah, it's
and
a
some
strategy.
Of that is, some of it, we have seen these races run, you need to run in the back and stay out of trouble. Elton Sawyer made another point, and a lot of people have said this as well. You watch the Indy 500, they're saving fuel from the drop, a lot of those guys. There's some
yes, Indy 500 is a fuel savings conservation race until the last pit stop.
And a lot of people will go all out and they run a certain strategy. But you watch Indy 500 and it's nonstop fuel conversation of the leader in front is burning more fuel than the guy behind and all of this stuff. And trying to figure out a way to take one less pit stop than everyone else. Like, that's part of this racing. It just is.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish I was aligned with some of you on this because I feel bad that we're so different.
Well, we agree there's an issue. Like, we all agree we'd like to have it different, but there is no sensible, practical solution. Yeah. I mean, I would like to see, again, maybe we can play with the stage breaks. Maybe NASCAR has and discovered it wouldn't work. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. I guess we should mention Tyler Reddick now, like just specifically Tyler Reddick. Well, no, we brought him up earlier, but in terms of what it means for him, right? Because this guy went winless last year, and it was like, whoa, what's wrong with Tyler Reddick, right? Now, again, you look at his full season points, and he would have been 8th in full season points. He was the best driver of the non-Big Three teams, and it's not like he was totally out to lunch here, right? But this is big for him to start off his season this way, in a season that we are, by the way, still expecting to be dominated by those Big Three. Those organizations are going to take the bulk of the wins, and they're going to have the top drivers in the standings for the most part, you would think. But this is a big statement for them, for 23XI to start off this way. I think it's cool that we're already looking at the point standings now.
Jeez.
What?
We're looking already? We're just not going to let it just bake for a little bit?
No, I like that. I like that. The points battle is on, and you already have some huge names outside, and Atlanta is going to be tough for some of those who have already wrecked today and didn't get many points. And then after Atlanta, we'll be saying, wow, this guy that we really didn't expect is having an awesome start. So
when do you hit the panic button if you're somebody buried in points? I think it's after Vegas.
I mean, by that time you would have had the 2 super speedways. So let's say you wreck at those and you have a bad road course. If you're okay at Phoenix and Vegas, I think you would say to yourself, all right, we're okay at the tracks that count, the normal tracks. We have time to dig ourselves out. If you're in a points hole and then you go to like Phoenix and Vegas and don't run well, or you get to like the first intermediate and you're like
mashing that panic button.
You're like, oh crap. Yeah, we're only like a 10th place car.
Yep.
Excuse me. Need more Celsius. I only do energy drinks like twice a year, 3 times a year on like the big race days that we're going to be, because normally I'm just a coffee person.
I've given up on coffee. Hot tea for me.
This is I bought this at Wawa this morning, so I don't want to let my purchase go to waste. So excuse me for drinking this during the show.
What this means for Tyler Reddick is this is a young, talented driver who has been kind of bubbling, if you will, of just kind of that level of very, very good to great, and this is also a driver, I think we forget, who won the regular season championship in 2024. And we talk about how we believe that Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports are going to dominate, and this system is tailor-made for them. We do need to tip our cap to 23XI. Over 24 races, they did win that regular season championship. That matters, right? So yes, we think those other 2 teams are going to dominate, but let's not completely dismiss 23XI. Reddick is a very, very talented driver. He has won on a road course. He's won on short ovals. He's won on big ovals. Like, he has won on intermediate tracks. Like, this is a talented driver who, if he has the right team around him, is going to have great success. And I think when we talk about last year with 23XI, specifically Reddick, we need to mention a couple things. One, there was the ongoing lawsuit, and you talk to people with both teams, 23XI and Front Row Motorsports, and they admit, like, yeah, there were times last year we maybe kind of got distracted, and that there was a lot going on. There's uncertainty about the organizations, whether they didn't have charters, were they going to exist, those kind of things. There was people are looking for their, they're going to have a job. And so there's that. And then obviously there's a personal situation that Reddick went through with his family last year. So you add all that together and it's like, yeah, you can maybe understand. And winning races is really, really hard. Joey Logano, the defending, I almost said Sprint Cup again. It's in my head. I almost said it. Joey Logano, the defending Cup Series champion, won one race last year. You know, it happens. It just happens sometimes where things don't go your way. So that's part of it.
Well, another thing about 2311, by the way, and this whole scene that we saw tonight, post-trial scene, is, look, we saw Michael Jordan very present today, right?
Yes.
We were down in the garage beforehand. He's hanging out. He's got Puka Nacua with him. He's got Marshawn Lynch with him. He does a pre-race interview with Fox, right?
Yep.
He's then, obviously here for the race, wins the Daytona 500 in victory lane, does another interview with Fox, and NASCAR is also, by the way, fully embracing this now and able to fully embrace his presence. Before, there was sort of like this, cool, Michael Jordan became a team owner, and almost as soon as he became a team owner, there was this dark cloud of the litigation threat, and then they were at odds, and then the negotiations and the lawsuit and all that stuff. And it's like, you had the most popular athlete, most famous athlete in the world in your sport, and like, by the way, incredibly enthusiastic about your sport,
hugely passionate,
loves
it, all
it.
in, like not one of these fly by the night, just here for a few little, just a little bit celebrity owners who we've seen so many times. Like, this dude is in. He loves it. He's here because he wants to, and he is in, and he's backed it up with a sizable investment. And
like, I mean, he said during the trial, no matter where he is, he watches like every Cup race. Does he say he watched every Xfinity race or O'Reilly race?
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, he said the
this
guy
legit.
Knows NASCAR and loves NASCAR. And if you can't buy that kind of
the
publicity
passion
and stuff.
And they need him. They need this to be part of this going forward.
And yet they haven't been able to embrace it. What a miss for NASCAR all this time. So now, obviously the settlement happens, and 2311 and NASCAR are working more together, and 2311 is going to do a lot this year, I think, like of initiatives to promote the sport and all this stuff. And it's very fitting that, like, after all that, they come out, and it was sort of a repeat of I described the scene from the courtroom that we were there that day of like, and there was no cameras, right? Of, I can't believe, Jim France and Denny Hamlin are hugging, and Jim France and Michael Jordan. People today got to see Jim France went to victory lane right on camera, right on national TV, embraces Jordan and all that stuff. And, O'Donnell's there.
Steve O'Donnell and Ben Kennedy couldn't have gotten there fast enough. And they were like genuinely enthused. They loved it. They were all in.
So I think that's great, because it's a sign that NASCAR, it can now embrace his presence more, and it seems like he's gonna do more. The fact that he's doing these interviews and all this stuff, I think it's big. I think it's really big.
I think it's huge. We've talked, you and I have talked about this a lot, of like, what did this race need today? It needed no rain. Like, it needed to run green flag, the checkered flag, without any weather interruptions. It didn't need really any controversy. I think we largely escaped that. It needed a good winner. It needed a good storyline. And this was it. Like, this is we kind of did make lists before. Like, what are we looking at for storylines? This is one of those that we had. Like, this would be a good storyline of 2311 winning. And because of everything you just mentioned, Jeff, of what this means for the sport. And you have this guy who is super passionate and is like the biggest cheerleader. Like, how many team owners in the garage do we see that are cheerleaders like this? There are some, but not many.
Yeah, I mean, he's using this as his post-basketball, like, competitiveness, right? Yeah. And he's telling a national TV audience, this is like winning a championship for me, right? Like, that's a very powerful message that NASCAR can sell. And it does, there is some momentum right now. Like, I think, you're walking around the garage talking to people this week and today, and there is some renewed refreshment right now, right? Like, you obviously the chase, I think, really, and you guys who watched our Media Day live stream, you could hear from the drivers how, like, they're really, really behind it, right? We we obviously heard about the increase in horsepower. We heard about the change from the Roval back to the oval, which a lot of people like. Fox got rid of the freaking cartoons. I mean, the NASCAR had a Daytona 500 without weather problems. Stuff like there's a lot of these little things that have
starting to add up.
Like there was no controversial. Look, the yellow light came out right there. And this guy was in head. We didn't have to worry about that today. Like,
and we're gonna get into this more. I think NASCAR did a really good job of officiating this race.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We're going to dive into it more, but they did a really good job of letting the players play. I don't want to say they swallowed the whistle. They held the whistle at sometimes, which is not a bad thing. And before we get into that, I just want to make another point about MJ. And I wrote something on The Athletic you're going to see tomorrow morning about this. He was very magnanimous about everything. Like, MJ's the notorious trash talker, right? Like, he trash talks everybody. He didn't trash talk NASCAR after he won. It was like, no, we are in this together. He gets asked today by Fox Sports. I asked him afterwards about it. Like, he didn't take shots. He didn't take jabs of like, come on, like, I'm MJ. I'm gonna, none of that. It was, no, we're going forward. We're in this together. I'm here because I love it. It was stuff like that. It wasn't pointing fingers or saying I told you so or any of that. It was, no, I'm here. I'm committed. We're moving on. What happened happened.
Yeah. Well, I just think there's look. It's only a matter of time before everybody gets mad, and maybe everybody is mad at the fuel savings type racing right now, or whatever the topic of the day is going to be. But I don't know. I went into today thinking, man, I am more like energized and enthusiastic for this season. I always, it's sort of like a measuring stick. Daytona itself, race day. You're like, how am I feeling about this year? And I was just like, man, I'm really excited for this season to see how it's going to play out. And I don't think I'm alone in that. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are into it right now. You did mention the officiating. The only thing I'd like to say on that is we didn't hear from all the drivers that were involved in that wreck. Sure. And that late video we saw, the fan video from turn one, that was like, ooh, that maybe there were some harder hits than I thought. If there's drivers that were in that wreck and they come out and say, dude, like, I had a hard hit and you kept that green for another minute or whatever, and I, knocked my breath out of me or something like that, right? And then it's like, okay, maybe it's gone too far to try to let this play out, because sometimes you do have to call caution on the last lap of Daytona 500. I'm glad they let it stay green. I'm glad they were as consistent as they were. But there's probably a fine line in there.
Agreed.
So that's why they officiate and stuff. But I really did like the consistency throughout the week with it. Like, we saw it all in every race of Speed Weeks. We're like, okay, they're letting this play out. If it's just a single car, if it's just a couple cars, and they keep going, there's.
How many times we saw in the truck race? Somebody'd spin out, and they just keep moving on.
Right, which is fine.
Yeah, it's great.
But
that should be the case.
It's fine, especially if they do that every time.
That's the biggest thing, is consistency. Right. Like, if this is how it's going to be, great. Everybody knows this, and this is how it's going to be. Now, the problem is when it changes and that line moves up and it moves back and you don't know what to expect. Can I read the quote from Denny Hamlin? Because you had a great question to him.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And Jeff asked a great question to Denny Hamlin in the post-race press conference about this topic, about cautions and everything, and I think this is fair to say. This is Denny. I was on the other end of the track. I can tell you that I didn't think I was in any danger, or the cars, the ones that did wreck in turn one. They all ended up in the apron of the grass, so they were all off the racing surface. There might have been one kind of running the apron or limping home, but there was no more traffic to go through there.
Yeah, and I asked Bubba and Byron about that afterwards on pit road too, and none of them were like, oh, I can't believe that was terrible. They was just like, no, I mean, when we got back to the front stretch, it was clear. Yeah. So it was fine. But well, since we've been talking about the racing now at the Cup race, should we talk good race poll? Or so listen, for those of you who didn't catch our live stream or haven't heard this announcement yet, Chase Briscoe is going to be joining us in the Good Race Poll contest this year. He volunteered for this. Last week, he sent me a text and said, you know what, I can guess better than you guys are. I'm usually pretty accurate. And he said his guess for the Clash was 41%. Unfortunately, Chase did not win that because I got it exactly right. 42.3% for the Clash, on the like to the point percentage. So I'm winning, beating you guys 1-0-0. We're doing 1 point for the winner, 0 for the others. Now Chase has submitted his guess for this poll today.
Okay.
And also you and I, why don't you and I guess first, and then I will open up the text and read his. So.
We're on the honor system here. I'm going to go 83%.
Sorry, what?
83.
About the Daytona 500?
The poll, yeah.
The race we just saw.
83.
83%?
Yeah. You think that stage 3 brought it way down?
Dude, okay. That's what's your reasoning?
A lot of lead changes. It was competitive. It was a good race. Deserving winner. Yeah. I'm going to get killed by it, aren't I? I'm going to get killed. Like, people are going to be like, no, it was awful. And again, I agree. Like, stage 3 had, we already went over that. Like, I agree about stage 3, but I wasn't horrified. Maybe I'm just happy because like it was you're
in a good mood. I think
I am in a good mood. Like, there was no weather interruptions. It wasn't.
I really hate to break this to you, but Twitter did not like that at all. I don't fuel savings.
So that's cheating, Jeff. You should be checking that stuff. That's the scouting report.
That's just my mentions. I'm just telling you how people feel about it. I didn't ask for a number. Anyway, unfortunately for you, Jordan,
I'm gonna stop.
There's no way. If this is over 70, I will be completely shocked. There's no way.
88, 85
in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
On the other side of that, there's also quite a few.
I'm floored that you went in the 80s for this.
I'm just optimistic, Jeff. I'm an optimistic guy.
Well, man, I honestly, I think it might be 55.
Oof. Okay. Do you have recent Daytonas handy, the numbers?
I may have researched the other Daytonas before.
So what is it since 2022?
The lowest Daytona 500 ever in the poll, I believe, is 57%.
What was that?
It was Michael McDowell.
Okay, 2021. But when the next gen? I'm just trying to think of like recent
next gen one.
Like recent fuel saving races.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Well, anyway, Chase Briscoe, as I mentioned, has made a guess. First, he originally guessed. He changed his mind. He first originally said, I'm going to go with my average throttle percentage and the race winner's number, 45. He said he was at 45% throttle.
I mean, honestly, that's a great formula. Kudos to him for it's a great formula.
He changed his mind and he said, my official guess is 53.8. So,
okay.
I guess I'm 55. So I didn't mean to box him in there, but I was thinking 50s because I thought if it was 57, the lowest, 57.1 was the lowest Daytona 500 ever. I thought it would just be a little bit lower than that because I do think people are pretty mad. We're saying, what can you do? But I think a lot of people listening to this podcast are being, shut the hell up. You guys should be pissed. You guys should be demanding changes. You guys should be demanding a new car.
Yeah, they got the pitchforks out. I get it.
All that stuff. But
what was your guess?
55.
And Chase's
53
I mean, that leaves a lot of wiggle room for me.
That's true. That's true.
Like if it's in the 70s, I win.
You're right. I don't think it will be, but you're right.
We'll see.
Anyway.
All right, we'll see. I'm curious. I was thinking about this as like what it is. I get it. Like I get it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chase's perspective might be skewed too. He was like 11 laps down. He got taken out early.
Yeah.
Like in that early, like the one that like Todd Gilliland got spun too, and
that was Connor Zilich and
Zilich. That was unfortunate. All right. By the way, I feel like all off season the whole talk was, man, tell you what, we sure are not going to let whatever we do at Daytona in the new era of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the drivers, we are not going to let that Austin Hill guy win this race. There's no way. And then
they did.
Happens again.
They stumbled over themselves. Like they stepped on their, Like,
I don't know. What did they step on, George?
they stubbed their toe. They stubbed their toe. They stubbed their toe. I mean, you watch that race, and I talked to some people about this in the garage today about this. Like, you watch that race, like they had him on the ropes, and the guys running behind him just couldn't do it. They couldn't figure it out. They dropped the ball, and like Hill deserves the credit. He won again. He put himself in position. He throws some great blocks. He's really hard to pass. But when the guys behind you just keep dropping the ball, like...
Dude, I feel like Austin Hill honestly does not get the credit he deserves in general. I mean, because everybody goes, great. Oh, the RCR cars are so fast. And they are. They're the fastest cars.
And you need a fast car, but you also need to execute. You need to throw good blocks. He is so good.
He is a brilliant super speedway racer.
Brilliant.
And look, we're going to Atlanta next week, and he's probably going to win there. Unless somebody figures out, like, you have to, I think the problem is their cars are so good. You have to, you're not just going to beat him one-on-one. You have to have a concerted effort with multiple cars to go, all right, we are not working with him. We're sticking together, you know, and maybe the problem is that in O'Reilly, like, you don't have as, you know, the same sort of alliances and stuff. You don't have a Penske trio that's going to be lockstep together no matter what, right? But maybe some guys should just be like, and look, also early in the race, I get why you'd want to draft with him. He's going to be at the front, or he's taking you to the front, or he's wherever he goes. If you just do what he's doing and hang there,
yeah, you're going to be near the front.
Yeah, which is good. And then late in the race, there was such a scramble. I mean, you had Brendan Poole up there, and of course he's like, "Well, I'm going to try to win." Allgaier's like, "Well, I'm going to try to win." Jordan Anderson's like, you know, they're not like, "Hey guys, let's all put our personal needs aside and team up just so that let's let Brennan win. Let's all get in the line behind Brennan and just push him." You know, it's sort of like the Riley Herbst thing at the end. Like, at some points they're going to go for it themselves, and their cars are just, I don't think they were strong enough to take him on one-on-one, and they all tried taking him on one-on-one shots. So
you can't. And what you needed, this is really easy to say, Monday morning quarterback, is you needed to kick him out of the lead sooner than you did. You can't wait until like the last 1 or 2 laps. It's too late.
Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen those videos that are like the simulated, like computer animation videos? It's like 100 gorillas versus 1,000 men type thing. And they have like, it's like a computer. You see all these like humans running at the gorillas, and the gorillas are just like boom, 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 like just knocking them out of the way and all this stuff. And it's like, that's sort of like Austin Hill. It's like all these cars are taking shots at him, and he's just like this big gorilla. He's just like bam, bam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, sure.
It's like nobody could touch him. You have to gang up on him. Like they have to be like the guys jumping on his back, working together against the gorilla. You can't just try to fight him one-on-one.
It's like Andre the Giant in the Battle Royal. Like, you can't dump him by yourself. You got to have a bunch of guys to throw him over the top rope. It's the same thing. But you can't wait until like the last 2 laps, because it's just too late. You need to dump him earlier and get him out of the...
Sure.
You need to, what is that?
I bet Austin Hill really appreciates us calling him a gorilla and Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant was the 8th wonder of the world. Like, he was great.
And by the way, so is Austin Hill on Super Speedways.
Andre the Giant was the good guy in the Hulk Hogan feud, by the way. Hulk was a jerk to him and deserved it. Regardless, push him back, get him out, work together, get him out of the way, and then you can slug it out among yourselves. That's the best way to do it. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but that just seems like the best strategy, because what they're doing isn't working.
Also, and you know, I think you said, you pointed this out yourself, but Jenna Fryer in the press conference noted that you had the 3 key players in the trial. So 23XI wins tonight, but also Richard Childress was, you know, he was the cameo appearance of the trial that was big. So he won Saturday, and then Front Row Motorsports, the Chandler Smith won Friday.
Well, I mean, NASCAR Chasm was sitting next to us, and Key and I, making jokes all the time. We were saying this the other day. It was after we included qualifying. Richard Childress Racing won the Daytona 500 pole, and then Front Row Motorsports won the Truck Series race. And I think it was after that we looked at each other and like, it's going to happen. Like, what needs to happen is like 23XI is going to win on Sunday. And it was even before that, not including the O'Reilly race. Here's a fun thing for you.
Okay.
Just because I'm love chaos.
Oh,
I love chaos. Imagine if Reddick's car gets DQ'd.
Wait, what do you mean? Now?
No, I'm just saying that didn't happen.
Oh.
I don't think it happened.
No, I'm saying, isn't inspection good? We're not good yet?
I don't know. Does it? I've been working. I've been
I
writing.
mean, we've been on this podcast
But it takes a while. I haven't looked.
Well,
I was filing a story.
I just assumed that wouldn't even be a
you see me
thing.
looking over here, right? I'm filing a story as we're doing this show.
Surely it's done, no? Is it not done?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Oh my gosh. That would be...
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's go back to my weird hypothetical. Like, can you imagine that, though, if, like, 2311 got DQ'd from the Daytona 500 win? What that would be? How quickly do they file a lawsuit?
Man. That would be... Yeah, that would really be...
Can Jeffrey Kessler appear at a NASCAR appeals hearing?
I guess inspection's not done yet as we do this podcast. Well, we might have to do the entire podcast over again if something happens. But I wonder if it's being delayed in part by... I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear this on our microphones at all, but, like, there's been rain on the roof. Like, there's... I mean, it almost sounds like someone's, like, flushing a toilet next to our room because it's not that bathroom. It's not the secret bathroom. It's like... It sounds like a waterfall outside because it's just been...
awful. But I brought my umbrella with.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, it's going to be... Anyway. All right, what else from this race do you want to discuss?
Let's talk about the points. What do you got for the points? Let's see who's where.
Oh, okay.
Let's just run through it real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to go to...
Because, I mean, Denny Hamlin made a comment.
I don't know if anybody follows Dustin Albino, but Dustin Albino did the... You know, because when they put out the points, it's like the straight points. And Dustin Albino does, like, the cutoff. I like that.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like the below the cut line. So he instead of just the totals, he has the plus to the chase. Okay, so let's just read it. Thank you to Dustin Albino for this. And this, remember, this also includes not only the stage points from today, but it includes the stage points from the duels. Mm-hmm. The duels also paid some points. So this is why some guys might be moved up. So here's your top 16 in the chase right now. Reddick plus 32. Remember, not locked in, no winning in, but he's plus 32 to the cut line. Logano plus 20. Elliott is third in points, plus 17. Zane Smith, very nice start for him, plus 15. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. plus 13. Keselowski plus 13. Buescher plus 13. Wallace plus 11. Hocevar plus 10. Blaney plus 10. Riley Herbst plus 9 to the cut line. Daniel Suarez a good start, plus 9. Josh Berry plus 3. Josh Berry plus 7. Kyle Busch plus 3. Kyle Larson plus 3. Noah Gragson is inside the cut line right now, plus 1. Then the first 4 out below the cut line would be Michael McDowell minus 1, William Byron minus 2, John Hunter Nemechek minus 2, and Ty Dillon minus 4. And then if you didn't hear your driver's name, that's because they're significantly below. In fact, I think that all 4 JGR cars perhaps might be outside the top 25 in points.
Hamlin is 33rd. Chase Briscoe's 37th. Christopher Bell is 31st. And
Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs is 26th.
Yeah, so they're all 4 JGR cars outside the top 25 in points after race number 1, which, again, actually does matter because there's...
Alex
there's no
Bowman,
winning in.
36th in the standings. That's
Oof,
notable.
That's a bad start.
Hamlin's, yeah.
Connor Zilic obviously didn't get the start he needs for his rookie season. He's 34th in points. So
correct. He still will win Rookie of the Year, though.
Still win Rookie of the Year.
Bold prediction.
Okay. All right. Well, in lieu of stuff we forgot to talk about, I guess that'll wrap it for this show. But if I did forget to talk about anything, Jordan, good thing for me, I now have another chance to do so on the Gluck cast coming Thursday on my own YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel now. It's just my name. You can search that on YouTube. But if you're listening to this podcast, it's just on the Teardown feed. So same feed, whereas you get this, the Gluck cast will magically appear on Thursday after I record it. It'll be live on YouTube, just like this show is live here after the race. And then the audio will appear on the feed, thanks to producer Bobby Marcos for that. So
the best producer.
The best producer. So, well, wait. I was kind of producing this last year. Are you saying that I wasn't the best producer?
Bobby's much better. Bobby's the greatest.
I agree. That's why I'm letting him do it now. Anyway, so I don't know what I guess I should probably have known the time that I would be doing the Gluckcast before I just said that, but probably, I don't know, 11 in the morning, something like that. Should we meet then?
I'm going to be hanging out in the comment section. This is good. You're doing
Will
it
you be in
live?
the
I didn't realize you're doing it live.
Well, I mean, yes, I don't really know another way to do it.
I'll be hanging out in the comment section. Come join me. Pour yourself your favorite cocktail. It'll be like sitting at a bar with friends. We're just going to make some jokes and banter. It'll be great.
I don't even know
Bianchi's banter.
Who the first guest is, right? I mean, so it'll be a great premiere episode.
Fantastic. I'm going to be like the old man Muppets.
Anyway, so join me for that. It'll be every Thursday, even though I don't know the time. And I'll be able to react to the other podcasts that I'm anxious to listen to this week, and then start looking ahead to next week, which is Atlanta, which you will be there, Jordan.
We'll be at Atlanta. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, like you said, we've talked about it a lot. Like, there's going to be some guys who are, leaving Daytona going, okay, we got some work cut out for us, and we know what's going to happen next week. And inevitably, some of these guys are going to have issues again, and it's going to set up for a very interesting few weeks.
Yep. Okay, everybody. Well, Daytona's done. Nothing super insane happened. We got the race in.
I said this before. I think this is the most straightforward Daytona 500 since 2019.
I'm not complaining at all.
No, not a complaint. Not a complaint. No weather.
Take it.
No controversy. No. Yeah, it was nice.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks as always for listening, and we will talk to you next time on the Teardown. See you, everybody.